Welcome back. Businesses around Texas allowed to open today after Governor Abbott issued the order this week, and he joins us now live to talk about it. Governor, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure, Sasha. Thank you.
And many restaurants are opening back up in Texas after being shut down for many weeks as we try to get the economy back open and workers back to work. Can you talk about your expectations on how this will all go and opening more businesses moving forward?
Well, in phase one that begins today, the perception is that people are stepping into this very cautiously, which is the right thing to do because, listen, the coronavirus still exists in Texas. It's not as if it has gone away. And so everybody must continue the process of these safe distancing practices. They should be wearing face masks. They shouldn't get close to each other. And so we've seen these strategies work in grocery stores over the past month. The same way these grocery stores have been able to operate without spreading the coronavirus is the same type of practices that we want to see take place in restaurants and other retail centers and malls. If people suddenly stop engaging in those safe distancing practices, we will see a spike in the spread of the coronavirus, and that will cause us to have to shut down again. So I strongly urge everybody to be very safe out there, be very cautious out there, make sure you maintain safe distancing practices.
Governor, yesterday we saw 50 Texans die of the coronavirus, the most in one day so far, and that has some people questioning reopening Texas. Some believe it will get worse. Now, you and the task force have had to balance our health and the economy in all of this. How worried are you it'll get worse?
Well, a couple of things. One is understand our decisions to open up were based upon input from some of the very best doctors in the United States, a former head of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, a former head of U.S. Medicare and Medicaid, a infectious disease specialist in charge of tracking COVID-19. And so these were safe practices that were approved by some of the best doctors. But understand this also, and that is these numbers, especially like on deaths, are going to fluctuate. The number of deaths today are far less than they were yesterday, but also compared to other states, even though any single death is a tragedy, Texas, compared to other states, has one of the lowest death rates in the United States of America. What we look at are these other trend lines, and that is the people who are tested, who test positive for COVID-19, is at a very low percentage rate in Texas compared to nationally. Nationally, that number is about 17%. In Texas, it's just above 5%. So the numbers, candidly, are looking very good. We need to make sure they continue to remain good. Last thing I want to tell you about this, and your audience needs to understand what I'm about to tell you, and that is we are testing more people every single day. As we test more people every day, there will be more people testing positive. Just because there's more people testing positive is nothing to get concerned about, especially because the percentage of people testing positive continues to be on the low end. As long as we have a low percentage of people testing positive, we're going to be just fine.
All right, Governor, Texas Tech announced this week that they plan to resume in-person teaching on campus in the fall under certain guidelines, along with some other Texas colleges. Do you support that? And also, do you anticipate public schools in Texas will resume back in classrooms in August?
I think what Texas Tech is doing is a move in the right direction. Obviously, you have as your chancellor someone who's a doctor who knows exactly what's going on medically as well as academically. And I think these cautious but smart approaches to opening our schools, again, is the right thing. And we are working with the head of public education in the state of Texas, Commissioner Mike Morath, on strategies where we would be able to open public schools also in the August timeframe. Knowing all of this, however, and that is whether or not it's universities like Texas Tech or public schools in the Lubbock area, our ability to open those schools on time as scheduled will depend upon the spread of COVID-19 at that time. As a result, I must reemphasize it's so important for everyone in Lubbock and across the state to do everything that you can to reduce the spread of the coronavirus by using safe practices, and especially hold down the death rate by doing all we can to protect the most vulnerable population, those age 65 and older, from being exposed to COVID-19.
Absolutely. And last question, Governor. Obviously, Texans are missing a lot of sporting events. No Astros or Rangers games, no Texas Tech baseball games to attend here in Lubbock. And college football across Texas is supposed to kick off in just 4 months. Do you think that will still happen? And what do you think stadiums will look like during football games across our state?
Great question. So I've been in contact with multiple different types of pro sports, including last night a Major League Baseball team, and we continue to work on strategies for the possibility of baseball opening up sometime this summer. At first, probably without fans in the stands. We've also talked to the NFL. Again, with the possibility of opening up without fans in stands. And then we're talking to the college football programs to determine the exact same thing. The first thing that we need to be able to focus on is getting the teams engaged and working out, practicing, and then prepared to play. And then we can focus on the strategies that would allow fans to safely go into the stands without spreading the coronavirus.
All right, Governor Abbott, thank you so much for joining us here in Lubbock and for all the work you and your team are doing for Texas.
Thank you all. Be safe.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back.